Are we recording? All right. I'll be calling the Village of Cross Plains Finance Advisory Enhancement Committee of March 5th, 2025 to order. Roll call, please.
Tim Hillenbrand.
Here.
Jed Henry.
Here.
Dave Micklich.
Here.
Paul Barth.
Here.
Michael Pomykowski.
Here.
Jay Langfeld.
Here. All right, we're at public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the Finance Advisory Enhancement Committee. Please observe the time limit of 3 minutes while the Finance Advisory Enhancement Committee encourages input from residents and may not discuss or act on any issue that is not duly noted on the agenda. I don't see anybody.
No.
All right, so we'll move on to reports. Committee chairperson, I have nothing to add that's not already on the agenda. Committee members, anybody have anything they want to add? All right, finance director.
I guess nothing finance related, but just in case you didn't know, Jerry Gray retires here in 2 weeks. On the 19th is his last day. He had 31 years, I believe, of service here at the village. So I know about that. And then on March 17th, we're having a candidate forum for the village trustees. There's 4 people running for 3 spots. So that'll be at the library, I believe, at 5 o'clock.
And they want me to do so.
And Jay will be there too.
What day is it? The 17th,
March 17th.
St. Patty's Day, Monday.
Oh.
Is that it?
That's it.
All righty, we'll go to general business. Discussion and possible approval of the February 5th, 2025 Finance Advisory and Enhancement Committee minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. So moved. We'll go to number 2, discussion and possible action regarding the review of purchases and policy bid tabulation forms, if any. So we have Tim has a question.
I have some clarification items as well.
Okay, go for it.
Did you go for it? Was your last one? So the truck RFP that we did with Jerry in, that shows 75,000. I believe is the cost for the state contract pricing. But we wrote the check out for 65,000. Why is there, am I wrong on that, or do we have that form?
The form that he filled out?
Yeah.
There wasn't a price on there, was there?
But there are not to exceed?
Uh,
I guess you should meet that. Well, the state contract pricing is yeah.
The only thing I can think of is if it's like a box truck or whatever, and they have to take it somewhere and get $10,000 worth of add-ons.
Yeah.
But that's still the question though, is what is different.
Or there was a rebate or something from.
Like you think it should be.
No, he's thinking it was less, so than the state. If it was a state bid, it should be exactly what the state bid was. He said it was under.
77,840 price in the state Wisconsin vendor now.
Right.
And we paid, the check we wrote for Kaiser was for 65,000.
Right, but the thing is, if you go below state, you can do it.
This was a state bid, wasn't it?
Yeah, but here's the thing, if the state bid, I've done this before, if the state bid is 77,840, that's the maximum you can pay. But if you find someone to give it to you for 65,000, you can go ahead and buy it. Because it's under the state bid, under the state contract.
But then who looks at it to make sure it's an apples to apples vehicle?
Well, it would be Jerry, I would imagine it's Jerry and Bobby that would do that. The other thing that could be is where we paid that, but we got rebates back. So they take it off the price. That's the other thing that
Put
happens.
it on the form, and we you had other quotes.
Well, you don't, if you go to state contract, you don't need other quotes.
Okay, so that brings me to my point. The state contract says we will buy for 77,840.
Right.
But we only paid 65.
Yes.
I don't know. I just what I got.
77,840.
No, you could get it cheaper than the state bid.
From where?
Well, he bought it, I don't know where he bought it.
But it should list that, right? Should it not list the other quotes to show the?
I don't- No. I don't know. This sheet goes in and it says, here's what the state, what the state has, right?
Whether you're in Milwaukee or Cross Plains.
Right, the cost. But now you go somewhere and they say, well, we'll beat that and give it to you for 65,000. You don't need to go get 3 bids again. It's under the state contract. That's my understanding, but we can ask Jerry, because to me, it's more logical that he got some type of rebate or discount off a state contract. You know, the manufacturers change. That was what the dealer was gonna do. Now the manufacturers might kick money back, you know, I don't know. We'd have to ask Jerry on that. I see your point where that's the state bid for this particular truck. Did we get that truck for 65,000?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that part, and I don't think anybody in this room can answer that.
Can we go and see like the state bid list for Wisconsin vendor net? Like, how do we see that?
Let's go right on the
I
internet.
would like to find, you can just do a Google search for that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and you'll see, it has everything.
Oh.
Now, there are some other ones, like, you know, they are buying the pavilion from, what is that called, Stonewall?
Oh, Polygon is the name of the brand.
Or, no,
Oh, Sourcewell.
well, that's another one of
Yep.
those places. That one I'm not familiar with.
But it's like the same thing as a source.
The state contract is, the state goes out and says, for this item, they go out and get the bidding, and then they take whatever one that's the lowest and put it on, and that company agrees to pay that to anybody who asks for
Right,
it. So the state runs that one.
right, and that's, yeah.
And generally I don't know how our policy is, but if you do a state contract and you go there and they give it to you cheaper, that's okay. You don't need, that replaces the 3 bids, what's in a state contract.
Right, or the source will.
Yeah, like I say, that one not real familiar with, so I don't want to comment.
But Tim, I still think that you need to make sure it's apples, because the concern here is if you have a buddy that works at a car dealership and, you know, and I'm not saying anybody does, but that's what we're looking for, and that's why we're asking about these. Because even though it's under, we don't know if it's an apples to apples.
Right, I agree with that part of it. We have to make sure that the state bid was for the truck that was bought. That I don't have a problem with, and that should be an easy thing to resolve. You know,
The other thing was, did you ever find out why we're paying the water? You were checking the water, the well.
oh yeah, that's not supposed to happen. That was all billing error.
We pumped out that.
No.
You're supposed to pay the water, you just don't have to pay the sewer part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the water is used to circulate to cool the pump. So that's all cool, but it's not being discharged into the sewer. So,
He just said we have to pay the sewer.
no, we
No,
don't.
we don't. We pay the water. We don't pay the sewer.
We pay the water fee, but not the sewer. fee.
Right.
Okay, so that's why they're still on there.
That's why they're still on there. There should be a lot less.
I thought they were gonna completely go away.
They are gonna go away.
Most people are not.
The PSC requires us to bill out every gallon that's pumped, so
Oh,
we
yeah,
still
okay.
have to, the water utility still have
Yeah,
to pay the water
there's no
utility.
charge.
Okay. So those will still be on there. That's what I was worried.
Yeah.
Like, something, like, I thought you said they're gonna go away. Just the
It should be a
sewer
lot
part.
less.
Yeah, they were, but I was like, oh, these are still here.
Gotcha.
Paying the water part of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a net zero, like we're paying ourselves.
Well. Okay, and that's what's happening, the sewer's been.
Yep.
removed,
Yeah.
Refunded.
That was just a billing.
The next items are on the current, stuff you put out. So do we, Midwest Alarm, where is that for? If we could,
It must,
just more in one building or Midwest Alarm?
do you have a pager? Yeah.
Was that for the library, is that the fire?
I don't know, that's, well, I think it's a monitoring system, right?
Yeah.
Those are for the library.
Like for this building?
Nope, those are for the library.
For-
Page 8.
Yep.
Okay. I was just wondering if this building's alarm, but the new one, where we have,
Well, that's one of the things we're gonna talk about tomorrow. Because we do have to hammer that part.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of alarms in this building.
then, County Country Engineering, now they have to.
It's all right.
It says Brewery Road, and has been on there for Brewery Road, and Brewery Road is done, is it not?
We're hopefully Monday will pay the last bill.
So the engineering company is still building that?
We run it through them.
Oh, okay.
The company gives them, and then I don't know. I guess
So,
They deal with it somehow.
Town and Country does the administration of the contract, so they make sure that the contract has been followed to the T, so they're just like double checking the contractor's work. And so this is, I think, their final bill.
Okay.
Like, that should be the end of the.
No, no.
And the last one is the Cintas, the
Okay,
the fire.
back.
And maybe something changed down there or happened, but I think we looked into it last year. They have
Oh, this fire.
two fire extinguishers in that building. We paid an exorbitant amount of money for inspections and they did replace one of them. And that contract, I believe, also said it was a 6-year maintenance agreement. And now I looked at it, and, fire extinguishers library, 190, fire extinguishers library, 172. Again,
This shouldn't be library. It's quoted, parks. I don't know. They must have just picked the wrong description in the choices. It's not library, it's parks.
but is it 6-year maintenance agreement that we paid for last year? Should that be part of the discussion? I mean, I don't know.
You would think.
I don't know what's the maintenance is on a canister sitting on a.
Yeah, I would think that would include the yearly checking and making sure.
No, because with our apartments, we have the same issue. We get billed annually or quarterly or whatever for sprinklers and fire. Extinguishers and stuff like that. But then they do like that's a 5-year or 6-year where they do a higher thing.
If there's a suggestion, I would strongly suggest we get rid of that company. I know Jerry didn't agree with them because they were never on time, but I think in today's world with.
I think with Jerry moving on and retiring, the new person, I think they'll look at a lot of things like that.
We can point that out.
We've even noticed that, with Joe's retirement, now they're kind of, looking at
Doing
vendors.
things a little different. than-
Yeah.
Yeah. Something a little bit.
Yeah.
That's.
So yeah, I think this is just one of those things too.
Money for what? Coming down the street, we're charging fractional.
Well, we should put it out for bid for sure.
Oh, that's.
That's what we should do. It's a service now. We should put it out for a bid and see.
Was there a conflict in that? Do we send out a receipt? Is there
I don't remember. I don't sign a contract. I don't know.
I thought you said
I
something.
was gonna say, I don't think the board, it wouldn't come to the board to sign anything.
Yeah, I never remembered doing it, signing anything.
No. Well, good. Keep it.
Anybody else have anything on this? All right, good. All right, we'll do, we have the EMS chief, Holly here. She wants to do a presentation for it, so we'll turn it over to her.
But. No. Keep track.
We have first time.
Yeah.
Once you turn it on.
You can, today, getting things on the screen. Oh,
Because otherwise, can you just tell me the next slide,
Okay, why don't we do that at the same time, because this isn't.
All right.
I'll just look at it from this face.
yeah, because it fit.
Yeah, it fit. Yeah,
I think you just had it upside down. It should fit in. Flip the computer upside down. Okay.
We're also helpful.
so just a background, my name is Holly, I'm your EMS chief, I've been here for a year. I'm a retired certified medical assistant for 22 years, ER tech for 8 years. Been with Cross Plains EMS for 27 this year, 27. Just letting you know that if you go on our website, we just came up with the mission statement. We're trying to come up with a 5-year plan. And we also have a vision statement. So we can get our visions in order. These are just some of our values. When you're talking about EMS districts, I just want to remind you, you've got to do apples to apples. Wanakee and Middleton are paramedics. District 1 is a basic service. They have 2 advanced EMTs, so they flex only when those 2 work. We're an advanced EMT service, and Mount Horeb is an advanced EMT, and they flex med. So you can try to compare us to those, but it's different levels of service. Currently, we have 4 full-timers, 16 part-timers, and 25 volunteers. They come from all over. They're not all from Cross Plains, but all of our first responders are. We have 6 first responders in the village that if we are out on a call, or if it's a serious call, or there's multiple victims, they'll come if they are home. A lot of them can come from work also. You got this in your packet. This just shows you who is paid what.
What are your hours in the 4 full timers?
They used to do 48.96. They now do 24.40. Just the benefits that they offer. I don't have the disability insurance because that's coming up due when I wanted to give a number, but we do through, just like the village WRS, we do the health insurance, income continuation, all those good things. The dental, the district does not pay for, the employee pays for that in full if they like dental. Calls are paged by year. This last year we had 551 calls. 29 of those were canceled en route or were answered by another first responder. This is just by municipality. Obviously, the village of Cross Plains has the most calls. We were only out of service in 2024 for 11 hours and 45 minutes, and those were either for oil changes. We had to get our annual maintenance on our striker cot and some electrical repairs, but otherwise we're always in service. I don't know how well you know EMS billing, but if we charge $1,000 for a Medicare, Medicaid, or work comp, we get $441.17 straight across the board. The one thing that Medicare, Medicaid, and work comp do pay are loaded miles. That's from where we pick the patient up to the hospital. They usually pay that in full. Jay had asked for income breakdown, so that's where we picked the patient up, how many runs, and the sum of payments. So we continually have, you'll see in the next slides, for those of you that don't know how insurance usually works, Medicare automatically denies your first bill that comes to them. It's just what they do. I don't know how they get away with it, but they do. Then it's resent, and then they'll look at it. We have a lot of Medicare, Medicaid patients in our district. We also have a lot of patients that do not have insurance at all. So when you look at this and it says 2024 calls collected in 2024, that means they were billed in 2024 and insurance paid or the patient paid. How we mostly get our money is we continually get from 22, 23, and 24, and it just is a big circle that keeps going.
Quick question on the data.
Yeah.
Has Cross Plains 216, then town Cross Plains?
Yeah. So this is when the billing company does it, it's by, usually we download from our CAD, which is from the 911 center, that tells us the address. It blows it in the report. The reason you have a couple of Cross Plains is because one of the EMTs actually typed the address instead of downloading from the CAD, and the billing can't change it or can't tell the difference. So that's why you got a couple of those. The district board had decided we're getting a new rig in June. They decided for 1 year to keep the current ambulance we have and just see different things and how often we use it. Dane County Emergency Management only has one backup ambulance for all of Dane County EMS. So anytime there is an accident with an ambulance, like District One just had an accident, they get the rig from Dane County. And they can keep it until their ambulance is fixed. If we get an oil change, I try to do it ahead of time so that we're not out of service, so that I can ask for District Ones. So we decided to keep ours for a year for those reasons. I'm currently looking into, just as not a moneymaker, but another way to add to our revenue is, interfacility transports. We don't know. I'm just gathering information at this point to see what we can do with that.
What is the remaining life, assuming low utilization for the, we'll call it the existing ambulance? Is that thing on its last legs or? Is it
No.
days?
It's a 2019. We usually do it, every 6 years, we change out an ambulance. This would be the first time that we're gonna keep this. And again, they just agreed for the year just to see what we would do with it.
Have we typically sold the old one?
Yeah,
This one's a little different because the new one that we're getting was actually supposed, Cuba City actually ordered it. And then they did a merge where they didn't need it anymore. So they sold it to us for what they were paying for it. So we kind of didn't go through the regular channels on this one.
Is it better or different than what we normally get?
No, it would have been one that we would have.
it's a little bigger. This is gonna be an F550 and it'll have 4-wheel drive, of which we don't have currently. And sometimes, depending on the hills in the district, I could probably get out and push it faster.
But if you were looking to see if this was something we would spend more money on than a normal one, no, we probably would have got 4-wheel drive.
Or did we get a deal?
We didn't get, I think we got a deal.
It's cheaper because they probably bought it a year, so you got.
Like, they
Yeah.
bought it like 3 years ago,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah,
Oh,
Because there's such a backward.
Okay.
So we got it. Yeah, we got the price of what it was 3
3
years
years ago, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So this shows you ALS and BLS calls, advanced. It's a little, difficult to tell you the difference. We're an advanced service, so we're considered ALS, but so are paramedics. Paramedics have more drugs and more capabilities. So for 2024, 44% of our calls were basic calls. 33% were the ALS calls. TNT is treatment, no transport. We went there, we helped them with what they needed. It might have been a lift assist. Anything like that.
have we ever looked at paramedics versus anything else?
There's no need for Cross Plains to ever be paramedics. We have got Wanakee, we have got Middleton and Sauk will soon be paramedics. We're 20 minutes within the hospital. We call them their automatic ALS, for certain types of calls like pulses, non-breathers, or seizures. And we can call them off or have them, and they're all in-house like we are now, so the treatment times,
For enough benefit.
right? So there would be no, the only thing that we could look for in the future is to be a flex medic, kind of like Mount Horeb, because there are no medics that way. Spring Green, Arena, all of them plain call for paramedics, and that's where if we had a jump car and had one paramedic, I don't think Middleton would like that very much because that's a lot of some of their income, but that's what we would not need a full paramedic.
Would it be a function of the population growth or would we contemplate it?
It's more level of service. Like she stated, paramedics can carry some more drugs than advanced can, and they can do a few more procedures. So it would be at some point weighing that out. But like she's saying, Middleton is so close.
Yeah.
That there's now we're looking to cover to the west of us at some point, then there might be a value to have some.
But most of the time, if you need a paramedic, we're going in that direction
Yeah.
where they're at, and so you can pick up on the way.
Yeah.
To be advanced, is it just one crew, one advanced in that rig?
Yep. So this is why our revenue, is the way it is because 47% of our income is from Medicare. Medicaid is 8%. People who have insurance is only 20%, and 25% is the patient actually is paying out of pocket. These are just gross charges by type. Obviously, we charge different prices for different things. We are not a type of service that, I circle that we, used 5 alcohol pads and 2 of these and 2 of that. It's just depending on the call, how many IVs we start, what kind of advanced skills we need to use. Last year, the board did agree to increase our mileage rate from $25 to $27. The services around us are more, obviously, some are paramedics, but I believe District 1 is also more. We tried to stay in the middle, and that's 28% of our income is mileage.
You said 28, is that like $28 per call or is it per mile?
Per mile, per loaded mile. So wherever we pick the patient up to the hospital, those are loaded.
Sorry, I was just expecting you to be more like the Irish mileage.
Oh,
Yeah, no, because we're providing service.
Yeah.
That's just weird and tear.
This just kind of tells you, I don't know why that we put this in here, but that just how much we brought in last year per service. We do charge different for non-resident and residents. Residents get a cheaper rate, obviously, because you live in our district and you already pay taxes for things.
Would that mean like if somebody visits my house, but they're non-residential?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Somebody from the last finance committee asked if we had safeguards because of the embezzlement we had with the prior chief. After our audit and after the board met, they came up with all of these safeguards that we have that were put in so that not just the chief. There's 2 or 3 people looking at everything so that not one person can write yourself a check or give yourself overtime or whatever. There's 3 people looking at it, and if there's any ever question about a bill or overtime or anything like that, it has to go through the board. If one person says, I don't think that's right, it has to go to the board, voted on or approved, and then the bill can be paid. So those are all there. We, with our 5-year planning, came in and had goals by quarters. So far, we've changed some of our processes and we're on track for all of those goals.
See the community outreach and improvement, is that just like proactive? Or
So right now we get,
attrition?
so we have the 25 volunteers, and we're really lucky because most people in Dane County don't have very many volunteers, but we are in with MATC, obviously, when they do classes, but also now with the UW, we have an in our meeting with their advisors. So anybody that already has the EMT license, because medical, people who want to go in the medical field usually take it in the summer, and then they go to EMS services to get their volunteer hours. So we have started a program where send them our way. We're close to Madison. We get, 500 and some odd calls. You come here, get your volunteer hours, and then you help us and it helps them get into med school. So we just have some goals for 2025 to help out the community and make sure that we're doing everything we can. And then these are some of our success stories. Spencer Ray was member of the year. He's a basic. He's just been accepted to medical school at the UW. And Annika is a critical care RN at the UW, and she continues to be with us. And then they help us with knowledge they know in the medical field, and then with our medical director and our protocols, try to make everybody better. That's it.
What are your volunteers, what are your requirements? Are they expected to stay at the station?
Yes. Yep, so we have, um, 2 volunteers right now, no, 3 volunteers that are in the town. And so I've asked them anytime there's bad weather or, something serious going on across things, that they stay at the station. Otherwise, they're within 3 minutes of the station. That used to be the rule when we were, more volunteers than anybody else, so that you had to be within 3 minutes of the station. Now that we have full timers and part timers and volunteers, they stay at the house so that our response times are shorter.
Yeah, they did a study on response times, and we were kind of at near the bottom because of that, so we changed it where they're at the station. That, right off the bat, it takes 3 minutes off.
How many groups?
Or
I mean, I was on a long time ago, I volunteered for a short period of time, and that was probably the biggest complication for me was the requirement to sit there all day for, very few
Yeah.
calls, and that was the.
Yeah, there's definitely weighing that, but it was noticeable in the response time. And, you're looking at 3 minutes, that's big when it comes to EMS.
so our goal to the UW students is you can come here and volunteer and you can study while you're waiting for a call.
And we don't, some of the volunteers they maybe only need to do 8 hours or 12 hours.
We'll take whatever they can.
Yeah, so it's not like you have to do 24. If there's 2 volunteers, you can split it 12-12. And, or like a full timer wants 8 hours off, you can fill in for.
Yep, so what we do now is for volunteers, it's mandatory, you give 24 hours a month. Just to,
And what other things or amenities that you need to attract or retain people that would be helpful?
no, we have a nice house. It's like a house, it's clean, it's efficient.
Doesn't smell anymore. Oh, that's bad?
Sometimes.
What does that mean?
Well, there was, I think, we thought we solved it. There was, the drainage that they, have inside the garage, I think sometimes didn't get flushed enough. So it sat there, so especially where her office was, sometimes I thought it was I thought it was unbearable. Just sitting there. Now, I don't know if it seeped into the house or
I
not,
don't think so. I think it's out in the vein by my
but we
office.
thought we had figured it out
Yeah.
by flushing it every so often to get clean water down. Like you have to do in your bathroom, your.
We had
shower
that problem
and
here
stuff.
at Village Hall a week or so ago.
Yeah.
I thought we were dying.
Almost all the basins have it. We have floor drains. If you don't put clean water in,
then.
it gets stinky.
So we have an office, with 3 desks and, well, I guess 2, and computers for them to use, bedrooms with TVs. A lot of the other EMS stations don't have that. They have bunk beds or they have just a room. So it's kind of fancy compared to everybody else's.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Appreciate it, Steve. All right, we'll go to number 4, discussion and possible action regarding financial analysis of EMS options. I'm just putting this on the agenda, every time, so we do. So, I was supposed to meet, if you remember, on the 17th with a group that's looking at it to the west of us about merging and everything like that, just to get a handle on it. Well, it's turned out that meeting was canceled because it turns out that Mazomanie is gonna put in for a grant under the feasibility of it, the same grant we were looking at. So they're at the point of looking at submitting a grant to see what the feasibility of merging the fire and EMS and whatever. So there's the update on that. So that one's gonna be, wait and see if they end up getting the grant. And the grant deadline was moved 30 days, so now it's the end of April versus the end of March. So I don't know if they didn't get a lot of applications or they didn't like the quality of the applications, but they did extend it for 30 days and put something out there. So yeah, well, it's just one thing that we kind of wait on, at least with that group is
To see what they get and then what they want to do.
right. The other thing is we had an EMS, board meeting, was it last week? Yeah, so, I informed the board what we were doing. There was one thing that, was brought up by one of the townships that, they might be open to extending the deadline. I brought that up with Paul, our village attorney, on the process of what that would be. So he's got to kind of read the agreement, the board itself, the district board can do it, or it has to go to all the municipal boards to do something, to do that. So we'll be checking on that, but that's kind of where we're at, right now. Oh, there was one other request, and maybe, Tim, this would be a perfect assignment for you. Even though in the agreement, it says that the district board is supposed to do the inventory of assets and how you would divide it out, they were looking for us to do that. So if you could kind of do that, look at capital assets and then, I don't know how much would fall under fixed assets, whatever. But in the agreement, anything that the county gave us would not be included. And if you could separate what was purchased by the association too, to separate those into the three categories would be helpful. To me, I don't know how many different options there are besides getting appraisals. Maybe there's other options out there, I don't know, but if you could do that, that would be good, because that's what they asked, and I don't have a problem, committee here to do that. And it's perfect for you, since you're there and you.
Yeah, and I think that building land issues would be one
Yeah.
that would be tricky anyways, because it's owned by.
The three of them, yeah.
Fire district in town of Springfield is not a owner of the building or land.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So that's about where we are at that. Any questions on that at all? Any future agenda items?
Are we still looking, I guess where are we at with looking at grants for the new building? Is that kind of on hold, or are we doing anything with that, or?
Well, my assignment was, to do the little plaza, the trailhead stuff, so I've got my numbers and Mike and I are gonna sit down and do a grant for that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if there's really anything else that would.
Sustainability, and I think Harley is gonna, hopefully we go for solar.
Okay, yes, there's really nothing other.
And then the police chief was supposed to look at COPS and JAG grants for the police department. And I guess tomorrow, that's a good reminder. I'll remind people, we need to move on this. Start, at least get the timing out for it. And really, we should be looking at those JAG grants. Those are really easy to get for police, and they're for, items. Like the first thing I can think of is if he wants one of those enclosed where you test drugs with, put it in like a lab and stuff, and there's filters and stuff, so you don't worry about getting fentanyl, overdose. Those things were expensive. I think 5 years ago, I paid $8,000 for mine. It was the smallest unit. J grants are for that kind of stuff. So we gotta just remind everybody on that.
Okay.
And, I don't know, Michael, has sustainability done any look into that? Cause I just read another article about Deerfield. Where was that? It was maybe in the newspaper where, they ended up getting a donor, but they've already earned over $700,000 from their solar project. And there's this group, this couple gave 2 million to Deerfield to do solar, but they also have a foundation for government agencies to do solar. That's their big push since they sold their company, was to try to get, local government rural too, to get into solar. Maybe that was in today's paper. I just read a huge article on it. I'll have to see if it's in today's paper. If that's, I think I read it today.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day, and I'm just trying to figure out, but it was really kind of interesting, and it had the name on the foundation, and they've given away millions already. So that would be another thing to potentially look at. But I'm not doing all of them. Like I say, I'll do the trailhead. Mike and I talked a little bit. We're gonna try to include a bridge across the back of the back parking lot. Try to include that in there, which makes total sense.
So when you say bridge across the back, what do you mean?
Well, if you notice, right now, the back parking lot.
Yeah.
There's the drainage ditch from the fire department that goes, their stormwater goes that way, right? So we'd be looking to put, so people could walk across from the parking lot to the trail, out going down into the ravine. So there's two options, putting them,
Go all the way back.
going all the way around. A big culvert there would be one, and then you could do grass and or gravel or whatever, or you do a bridge,
So, right, so people can get from that back lot up to the trail, but like you say, walking around to the front.
Yeah,
People were asking me about that last night at
Yeah.
the meeting.
yes.
Or whatever, okay, so you gotta. Otherwise, people are just gonna walk across the grass to get to the back, but they're gonna walk all the way around the front.
Yeah, we work by the bathroom, we're gonna do it to the
Back
back
here.
parking. So that, you got enough, yeah, right back there is what I'm talking about. When you look at, I don't have a
Oh, I
problem
got
with
it.
people coming to the regular sidewalk and going back to it. If they wanna cut across the grass and go off, but it's not that far.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People are just gonna walk across the trail to the bathrooms, they're gonna walk all the way up to the road and come back.
Well, there'll be the grade isn't like this.
Is there going to be a big dip there?
Well, there's a big dip there now.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be changed.
The bottom of the
Well, we're gonna
parking,
try to fill it in, but
Yeah.
there's gonna be a decline. I thought it was 4 feet. Cause
I think,
So between the building and the path, it's gonna be a,
it's not even really a dip, it's like,
it's like,
cause we have to fill, the building will be higher than the road.
will be higher than that trail there though?
Yeah.
yeah, the trail right now is lower than the road. It meets up to the road, then it drops down. Our building's going the opposite. It's gonna be going up. So the trail goes down, the building goes up.
Okay, so people were walking from the,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
people were walking from the trail to the bathrooms, they'd be walking uphill to get in.
yes.
That's my question. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but
So the fire department is like here, right? And there's parking, there's.
well, here, look on here, because I can tell you exactly where it is. It's the 5th parking spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right here
Right?
is a pipe coming out for their stormwater. So we are looking to fill in the drainage ditch all the way to here. And that would it'll be level with trail. But the trail and our lot don't get level until you get up here. From this bathroom to this trail, I believe is a 4-foot drop. Yeah, but this, we need to keep this like this, because this is the ADA.
Right, yeah.
path. So, yeah, someone who's ADA and other people, if you want to stay on the trail, instead of cutting across, right here, yes, you gotta walk the trail and this, but you're not talking about yards.
I understand,
Yeah.
so people are just gonna, if they're going to the bathroom, they're gonna walk all the way down, go back, they're just gonna walk up that little hill to get there.
That could
Yeah,
be-
that's what-
that
it's
could
just
be,
not ADA,
absolutely.
but yes, a normal person.
Yeah, well, yeah, I understand.
Well, not-
Yeah, I'm just saying, eventually that starts getting warm, like when they go put concrete, or who's walk up the slope.
Well, see, you can't, see, then you need steps. at a certain grade, you need to go to steps.
That's there, okay, that's too steep.
Oh, yeah, or wrap around. But here, we can't fill this up. We can't fill this in because that's where the water is unless we ran a pipe all the way, and that would be expensive. So here, you either put a big culvert here, or you put, a gate. But according to them, they think this and the trail are pretty even. Isn't that what they said?
I don't remember.
Because it drops, right here. This is where it really drops. So I'll have to look at that. They might be right.
That's what
I
you're,
just don't know how the grading's gonna be for the parking lot.
that's what you're saying, put a bridge over that culvert, because that's where all the water's draining down.
Right.
People could park in that back lot.
Go right to the trail, right to Xander Park.
Right, okay, that's it, because last night at the thing, like, we gotta do something to make it, like, it's like,
I agree. It's
usable.
It's just that if you keep piling this stuff on, just like with the generator and stuff, the cost gets so much, I don't wanna kill the project because we can't afford it. So even with the generator, that was brought up. Absolutely, we should have a generator. But what we're gonna do is we'll rough in the slab, we'll bring the natural gas, we'll bring the conduit there. So when we have money, all we have to do is drop it in there and hook it up. We'll have everything inside the utility for that, or at least save room for it.
Right. Okay.
And that's the same with solar. We might be able to put up this amount, but we'll have everything ready in case we have money to fill the whole room. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, super, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, and sustainability really hasn't done a whole lot on like the grade of this. I'll send an email to the Dane County Office of Climate, whatever, because they would know.
Yes,
They
they,
usually get like back, like, and there's gonna tell me the infrastructure reduction act, they probably contact focus on this, unless they know some other esoteric refunds.
I'll go and see that article. If that article is, I'll try to find that article and I'll send you the name of the foundation that this couple is run.
But I'll send an email to that lady that it's Catherine Clinton or something, I feel like runs it or one of. Because they're like, in their newsletters, they're like, contact us to do and figure out how to get money back for this project. That's what they're there. This office in Green County is there to help municipalities get money back for solar and sustainability wind projects,
Okay.
geothermal stuff, all that stuff. Like, that's pretty much what they do.
Yeah, we heard a little negative, at least on the road part. It seems like this group is a lot pickier than the previous one. And, for KP.
On the road part?
Yeah, they're actually trying to get some of our grant money, for the trail for KP. Cause that we had some that covers KP, but we feel that's our part of KP. Well, they're looking to take, it sounded from Brian that they wanted some of that.
But the county thinks the grant money should be split, not the grant money's all ours.
Right. That's constant battles.
Will there be a study done to see our cost turnaround on solar?
I don't know. The solar companies generally do that.
Well,
They give you.
yeah, they do. But
Here, 20 years.
well, here's the thing. That's funny that you bring it up because, September I put solar on my house. And I'm gonna I'm keeping all the records of everything. And I'm actually gonna do a case study report to sustainability on my experience on it. And we'll have a pretty clear idea. But there are things that change, like, holiday days and, I've already noticed that when they get covered with snow, you don't produce much. So, this year was good, very little snow, right? But anyways, I'm gonna do that, so we'll have some idea. You can do tons of reading on it and stuff. But I just wanted, I just wanted to see, I'm gonna see how it works.
The gentleman that came to the MS building from MG&E, who did that audit, and he used to work for Alliant, he lives in Sun Prairie. And he was not impressed with, he put solar on his house and said he was not advocating solar at all.
Well, to see, like I say, I'm waiting a year. I'm waiting a year, so every month I have it. Where I think it's not, where I think, the company that I bought from, their selling point was you get it free. Because the money that you save for solar pays for the loan that you take. I did it different. I did cash because I wasn't gonna, that didn't make sense to me with a 5.99% loan, percent loan. So I'm looking at for return on investment and on how long it takes to pay it off. So that will be my part of it. And it's, like I say, there's a couple formulas that are out there that people use to say what the value, how that increases the value of your home. But yeah,
Building,
Like with respect, with return, that's a long time ago, I contacted somebody about putting solar on the library, and the guy who's working there just gave me some off the back of the cup, like, if you install this much voltage DC, this is how many AC kilowatt hours it's gonna produce in a year, being at this elevation. And that's all built into like the solar designers, like software, like it takes where you are and depending where you are in the country, it knows how much sun energy is produced in the different places. The percentage goes up and so they produce more electricity. And just off of that, you can just do simple calculations of we're gonna produce this many kilowatt hours in a year. And say, and it'll, save you this much money if you're paying for it. Like, that's pretty much what they do.
and there's no doubt that getting 30% credit makes a huge difference, right? If you didn't have that, the payback would be.
we don't get anyways.
No, we do get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the municipality gets it better because they actually get the cash for me, which I think a lot of people don't understand. It's a non-refundable credit. So it only goes against your liability. So you got to make sure you have that kind of a payment to get, yeah.
Otherwise, it carries forward.
Carried over,
It
yeah.
just carries forward, but it's
Yeah,
a matter
you
of.
gotta adjust your withholdings to make sure you owe the government money,
Yeah,
right? That's how it works. It's really interesting.
not really. That's your withholdings. Because you have no, you just take no withholdings on it.
Well, that's fine, but what I'm saying is right now, if you don't pay any federal taxes, you only get, let's say you get money back, you've got to change that so that you do have a tax liability, so you can take this credit off.
Apply it to.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it's based off it'd be based off your income, not off the taxes at all. Because your withholding is just, you basically prepay your tax liability.
Right, but what you want to do is make it so you don't prepay, you want to have a shortage.
But you don't want, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if you.
Because
prepay it or not.
if you had $1,000 of withholding and your liability, your tax liability was $1,500, you're gonna use that $1,500 credit, they're gonna send you $1,000 back.
Yeah,
They'll send you your withholding back.
it's good.
No.
It's a credit against taxes.
It's a credit against the tax, it's a good.
I don't think that's, no.
The agenda, so.
Well, it's not. All right, I don't look at, right, but anyways, let's go ahead. Sure. Any future?
Yeah, we're gonna figure out taxes.
That's all. For next. I have a motion for. Okay, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, same, so moved, thank you. All right, now this. Yes.